100%. I think we should be friends. That's how much I agree with you. It's about meeting people where they are. It's about going to and letting people know they have a choice. You have a choice between the past of South Carolina, or you have an opportunity to pen the pages of South Carolina's future. By doing that together and meeting people where they are, talking to them about the issues that are most important to them. And I believe we have that opportunity. That's why we got in early. And we're, our campaign in the first, just to tell you what we've done. We launched that 46 county tour. I think we're on county 18 or so.
Like 19, 20.
19, okay. In our first 2 days of the campaign, we raised more money than Henry McMaster had raised in the last 3 months. And the first 2 days, Cook Political Report came in and shifted our race over, citing our ability to get crossover support and raise money as an example. We're going to do everything we can. I can promise you that. I'm going to do everything I can to reach every single voter. But I can't do this alone. I can't, and some of you may not have been involved early on, a year out from an election. And so the question you have to ask yourselves is, what am I going to do differently? Am I going to invest early? Because it does take resources, as Joel said. I'm not above asking for money here. Joel asked for me, but it does take resources to get our message out, to travel the state, to communicate on the airwaves, digital, media. It does cost resources. And so, if you haven't gotten involved in a campaign this early before, maybe now's the opportunity to do so. Maybe now's the time to try something a little bit different. And so I think it's incumbent upon all of us. And I don't know if Joel, if you're saying this earlier or not, but this isn't about me. I'm a vehicle carrying this message and these values and the things that we believe in. This is about the future of our country. It's about the future of the state of South Carolina. And it's about what kind of South Carolina we want to leave behind for the future generations. Because the basic premise, the basic duty is to leave behind a state, a country, a world to the next generation in a better off position than the way in which we found it. And what can each of us do to do that for?
Okay, before we get the next question, please do not say, I can't hear. We know that. We're in Sun City. So it goes with the territory. Second point I want to bring up, we'll get to you. Second point I just want to bring up is we'll send out through the club newsletter what's going on through the state with getting out the vote. There's a major effort starting. Katie, Keith are here from the party, but we won't take your time. We'll send out a newsletter, update you on the state effort to get those 200,000 people out. You wanted to go, then I'll come to you in the back in a second. Go ahead, your question.
Would you encourage Afghans to settle here?
Encourage Afghans? I think we have, when we went over there, and the way that we ended things, obviously we had a duty to bring our people back, but there are a lot of people there in harm's way. I think McMaster takes these positions, what was the one before that? Where he acts tough against Mexican children. Mm-hmm. Children. What a big man to stand up against Mexican children. People who get dragged into our country. And this is an issue, you look to my record on these issues, it's about humanity, strong supporter of DACA. And that's where my voting record was, because look, I think that especially as it relates to younger people who have no say-so in it. And we have a serious issue with that here in South Carolina. People who could be DACA recipients who can't go to college, can't get student loans, don't have available the resources. So I view this I can tell you my values are compassion and love and looking out for our neighbors, but also recognizing the damage that was done over there. And there's a process that they're going through. And recognizing and respecting that, but also recognizing our duty and our obligations to people who cannot fend for themselves.
Okay, we got the young lady in the back.
Yeah, I wanted to piggyback on the other question. I know we do phone calls, but I had registered to be someone to take people to the polls, because a lot of these people out in these outlying areas don't have cars. Is it possible to establish a registry for that? I don't mind what part of, I don't want to go out of, I don't want to go to Charleston.
Yeah.
But some kind of register a lot of those people don't drive.
Joe,
Yeah.
got it.
And that's,
Joe can answer that, but the guy over there in the blue shirt, Keith, who's the chairman of the Lancaster Democratic Party, could give you a quick answer in about 1 minute.
Faster than that, I work closely with Reverend Murray with our local branch of the NAACP. We do have people that have stood by the phones, and we've tried to get the word out, and we're able to take people to the polls. We've had people at the churches across the county. Unfortunately, we don't get as many calls as we think we should be getting. But we are there.
Okay,
We're
the two of you
fighting for
could
that.
get together and take her name. By the way, we don't know when primary day is in June, but you can take me, but first you have to get me lunch. Anybody else? Any other questions? Yes?
I wanted to ask, as you go forward, I think you're pretty much guaranteed every vote from a Democrat in Sun City. So we're a pretty known commodity. But looking at the marketing campaign you've run so far, I wonder how you're reaching out to Republicans that are amenable to the change. For example, a lot of the advertising that I've seen so far are very casual, very loving, like with children or whatever. But I would love to see you focus on the business people, getting out there and shaking hands with business people that would make an on-the-fence Republican say, okay, he's serious about this, not just feel-good stuff. And so it's not really a question, it's an observation of looking at the people that are your best chance, which are Republicans or independents that are going to run for you. I think you got the Democrats down pat, but I really hope you'll figure out the best marketing way to reach out and present a picture to people of I'm trustworthy, I care about business, and
And during the next 14 months, we'll be amassing the resources to be able to communicate directly in people's own living rooms or on mail, digital, things like that, with the message that is bigger than partisanship. And similar to what we did in 2018, encouraging people to cross the party line and choose people over politics.
Mm-hmm.
That was our slogan, and it resonates. Thank you.
Any other questions before we send them down to the low country? Yes, sir?
Yeah, I got a question.
I'm not playing you in basketball. That's the question. All right.
That's my next question.
Okay.
Now, I got a sister that's Republican.
Yeah.
And, and she keeps telling me, well, I vote Republican because Republicans are always fiscally responsible. And I'm like, you gotta be kidding me. That's the last thing that they are. But, there's this perception out there that Republicans are fiscally responsible. How do I answer that?
I mean, yeah. I mean, what I saw in D.C. is the only people who are concerned usually about the debt are the people in the minority. I mean, I don't think any president spent more than Trump did. But there's some people who may not be persuaded with facts. And we're going to present an alternative, and I think there are ways we can be more fiscally responsible in our state. You look at all the tax loopholes our state has and how much that is exploited, and we're willing to have a robust conversation. I was in the Blue Dog Caucus in Congress, which is the fiscally conservative Democrats, and so I've got a strong record on these issues, and so I'm more than willing to have that conversation about my record and how we can do similar things in South Carolina that better utilizes our resources. But going up, and I neglected to say this earlier, but this is going to be a comparison. This is going to be a choice between ideas, values, between the past versus the future. And you see the card here. Governor McMaster has been in politics longer than I've been alive. His political career is only 15 years short of being a member of Sun City here. But you think about it, if we have a football coach that has one losing season in South Carolina, they're fired. They're gone. This governor has 40 years of losing seasons over and over and over again. And with the resources that we get, we're looking forward to putting that out there. And I think that's going to be a contrast for people like your sister and others.
Anyone else? Last call. Joe asked at the little reception we had, what are local issues? So I'm going to ask the question that somebody brought up but didn't ask here. What about the smell? You're fully aware of our problem up here with the paper plant? What would you do as governor if we can't get the federal agencies to take care of this?
Look, I think that there's and again, I'll admit that y'all know way more about that issue and the cardboard better than I do. But what I can tell you, I can tell you about my values, and I can tell you that our governor has a track record of bringing in companies that take advantage of our labor force and take advantage of our environment. It's always a cost-benefit analysis. And, part of me having this 46 county tour is to go to every single county. And, God gave us twice as many ears as he did mouths, and that's to listen twice as much as we do talk. And so these are things that I'm gathering as I go from county to county, and I see a trend. I see a common trend of mismanagement throughout our state, county by county. And it's about correcting that. It's about turning those of the ship and providing real change. And I can lead on my values and where I stand, and I can continue to hear from South Carolinians all across the state as to issues that matter most to them and respond accordingly.
Thank you, Joe.
Thank you all so much. Appreciate it.